Times after being sober for over 10 years, people ask me, what is the one thing that got you sober? If you could attribute your sobriety to one thing, what would it be and why? When did that change happen in your brain that actually flipped the switch and said, yeah, I'm sober now and I don't need to drink anymore? That's what we're talking about today. We're going to talk about that one thing, that secret thing that nobody talks about that's going to help you get and stay sober. Terry, how you doing today?
I'm doing well,
All
and I'm still sober because of that one thing, and I
right.
still use that one thing today. But yeah, let me get into it a little bit, and I will give away what that one thing is pretty early on here. But there's a lot more to it than just that one thing. And for me, um, let me see, my journey to try to get sober started quite a few years before I actually ended up getting sober. And I remember that I knew that I had to stop drinking, and I wanted to figure out what to do, and of course looked it up on the internet and this and that. And eventually, I went to a doctor, and that's definitely what I would recommend for anybody. But I went to the doctor, and they prescribed some withdrawal meds, and I don't remember what they were, but whatever, the common withdrawal meds, and said you need to go to AA, and then take these to help you with withdrawal symptoms. I took them. I went to AA, did this, didn't talk, didn't share, didn't talk to anybody, whatever. And of course, I did not stay sober. And why was that? I I just not done drinking? I still enjoyed it. I do have to say, I enjoyed drinking till the very last day that I drank. I enjoyed the feeling that it gave me. I just did not enjoy the consequences that were happening. And I kept drinking for a few years after that, and then I finally got, uh, I don't know, should I say serious? Not really. I should say desperate, I guess. Desperate to get sober. And eventually I broke down and told people I was an alcoholic, and they helped me get into a rehab. And that's where I met Marcus. And I got sober at the rehab, but I started drinking again after I got out of rehab. And I drank for a little while. And then um, then I was determined again, no matter what, I'm going to get sober this time. I am going to do it, no matter what it takes. And I did. And I ended up in the hospital. Lots of bad things happened, but I got sober. And what was that one thing? And you know what it was is when I finally woke up in the hospital and I was ready to go, I took that responsibility. I took the responsibility. Back when I went to the doctor, it was it was everybody else's fault that I was drinking. It was my problem's fault. It was all this other stuff. It wasn't me. And I expected that the doctor gave me this stuff. I had to go to AA. I didn't have to do anything else, and that I would just get sober. Didn't happen. Rehab. Rehab told us that we had to take responsibility for our sobriety. Otherwise, they might see us again, or we'll start drinking, or they'll never see us again, whatever. But we'll start drinking if we don't take that responsibility. And I didn't. And I started drinking. Then I finally got, after the hospital, I took that responsibility. I was able to stay sober. Now, there's a lot more to it than just saying, okay, I'm responsible for me being sober. I'm just not going to drink no matter what. That's it. That's that's all I have to do is not drink. Well, there's more to it than that with sobriety. That's what our program talks about, is changing your perspective on life and alcohol to get yourself to be able to stay sober. And that's what I had to do, was change my perspective in life. There's a statement, and it's actually a pamphlet from AA, and but it's really true. And this has it doesn't state a lot of the things that AA talks about, and it's not in the big book, but it is a statement from them. And I'm going to read it real quick, because is what this is what I have, the way I have tried to approach sobriety, and I've not been perfect, absolutely not. But anyways, if you're an alcoholic like me and you're trying to get sober and to stay sober, Sobriety has to be the most important thing you work for in your life, without exception. You may think other things in your life, like your job, your home life, or one of many other things is more important. But if you don't get sober and stay sober, your home life or all those other things that you think are more important, you're just not going to get them. And it's likely you're probably not going to have a job, a family, money, sanity, or even your life. But if you make sobriety your top priority to work for in life, you just might get sober and stay sober. And maybe you'll be able to get and keep those other things in life that are so important. And that's what I did, especially in early sobriety. And that I have to keep that in mind. I know people that have had decades of sobriety and they started drinking again. And the reason I know that they started drinking again is because they did end up getting sober again. So I was able to talk to them about what happened. And they said they took their sobriety program out of their life. They put other things in life ahead of it. And then they just thought, they had that little tiny little idea. I think I'll take a drink. I took that drink. I'm okay. I'm fine. And eventually they started drinking more and more. This is this this is it. Is you have to take the alcohol out of the picture for good, and you have to develop that life that you don't want it, you don't need it, and that's what I had to do. That's what I still try to do. I'm not perfect. Every once in a while there's that craving. Every once in a while I put something else ahead of it, but so far I've been able to stay so. And how about you, Marcus? What do you think about the number one thing? Is yours the same thing as me? Maybe a little bit different?
I would say that the number one thing that got me sober and keeps me sober was understanding chemical dependency is the problem.
Yep.
Once I understood, okay, this is a battle you're going to lose because it's a chemical battle. I thought it was a mental battle, and
Yeah.
it is, but your mental faculties are clouded by a chemical, so yeah, you lose. Um, that was something that really helped me get sober and really helps me to this day. I mean, I look at it to this day and it's like, okay, why don't I drink today? Well, because I know that chemical is what causes the problem. Take the chemical away, I don't have chemical dependency, I don't have alcoholism, I don't have anything. Like without the alcohol, there is no alcoholic. I know people say, "Hi, I'm Marcus. I'm an alcoholic for 10 years." Am I still an alcoholic? Well, if I drank, I would become one very quickly, which is why I don't drink. So I guess yes, I'm an alcoholic, and that's why I don't drink. Am I an active alcoholic today? No. Without alcohol, you can't be an alcoholic. With alcohol, I am an alcoholic. And once I understand that, it changes everything because now it's like, yeah, the fault and the issue is with the alcohol. And the problem is me not admitting that. When I'm, oh, it's this, it's that. My shoes are too tight. My family's too mean. My job is too stressful. No, like there's plenty of people who have all those things and they don't drink. Oh, you don't understand. It's a coping mechanism. Okay, all of those things, fine, good, wonderful. I even had therapists say, oh, you're self-medicating. Am I? Or am I just an alcoholic? I was just an alcoholic. You can call it whatever you want, right? You can put lipstick on a pig. It's still a pig. Just a pretty one. That's it. But it's still a pig. And if you put all the things on alcohol, saying what it is that is causing your issues, it's still an alcoholic. No matter how you sliced it, no matter where I was, once I hit that chemical dependency, I was an alcoholic. And if you're wondering if you're an alcoholic today, there's probably a good chance if you're on this video and you're resonating with it, you're probably an alcoholic. It's kind of like Jeff Foxworthy with his, you might be an alcoholic. If you drink in the morning, you might be an alcoholic. If you think about alcohol more than 5 times a day, you might be an alcoholic, unless you work at a bar, then maybe it's different. But if you're an alcoholic working at a bar and you can't stay sober, might want to rethink that too. But starting to understand, like, hey, wait a minute, I need to understand that there's a chemical at play here. And that's the way it works, right? You're like scrambling around trying to pick up the pieces of your life while drinking, which is causing the pieces to fall apart again. And understanding that is key. So for me, chemical dependency, knowing that keeps me sober. Like you say, oh, people say just don't drink. Well, the reason I don't drink is because I know chemical dependency exists.
Yeah. Yeah. That's it. Chemical dependency. And for me, that was and is the case. I'm chemically dependent. If I do take that drink, I don't know where it's going to take me. Definitely not. John, congratulations on your sobriety. I think. Oh, I forgot. Did you say how long you've been
4
sober?
years.
Well, Marcus with a K on the comments. You've been sober. Oh, John's been sober for 3 years. Marcus has got 4 years there. The Marcus here on the video, he's got 10. But congratulations on both of you. And yeah, you were saying that one thing that got you sober was witnessing my father, a daily drinker, looking for his keys all the time. I realized in that moment that alcohol caused my father to develop early onset dementia. And I don't know. Um, my father was an alcoholic and also had dementia. I don't know if one has to do with the other. Maybe it does. I don't know. But that didn't get me sober. It was, for me, it was me. It was realizing that my life was just getting worse and worse. And when I finally realized, and as Marcus said, the chemical dependency, when I realized that that is what the problem is. And that's when I realized that that has to get out of my life, regardless of what's going to happen. I didn't realize when I got sober that all these other problems in my life that I had, I didn't realize that they were going to suddenly start to improve as far as they were going to get better. Many of them were going to just go away. I had no idea that that was going to happen. But when I finally got sober, I started working a program. I started working my life in the right direction, doing the right thing, being, living in gratitude and not taking myself so seriously, things like that. Things started to get better, and those problems started to disappear. Did I have to actually go after some of the problems that I had and deal with them? Yes, I did. There was still, life didn't just become wonderful right away, but it did get a lot better. And it's slowly gotten better since. And for 10 years, it's just been getting better and better. Life's good. So sobriety is a great thing. And Door, 4 weeks sober. Congratulations. And same with where's Janine? You too. You're pretty new at this, and keep it up. Don't drink, no matter what. You can do this.
Yep.
Definitely.
Yep. And always, if you're detoxing and you've been drinking a lot, always go to the doctor, just because it's better safe than the alternative. And really, looking at the chemical dependency, looking at the tricks your mind plays. Like, a lot of people think you have to take your mind seriously. I did. I took my mind seriously, and it drove me nuts. Literally, I went to a mental hospital because I took my mind seriously, and everyone else there took their mind seriously. They were looking at it and they're like, hey, this is reality. Well, what is real in my brain isn't real in the real world. It's much like social media. I have social media. If it unplugged today, our lives wouldn't be all that much different in terms of the way life works. We would just lose social media. Like, people think that's real life. Like, oh, hey, this person, that person, whatever. And that's not real life. Real life is reality. And even that is subject to what we think about reality, right?
Yeah.
It's all our interpretation. And when I understand that, it's key. When I understood, like, me being a victim, me thinking everything was against me thinking, oh, well, yeah, now I'm an alcoholic, now I got this, now I got that. It wasn't real. Like, I could look at it and be like, okay, all this stuff happens. Okay, next. What now? Well, Marcus, you don't understand. This happened, that happened, the other thing happened. Well, stop drinking and you'll feel better, and then you could start to be better. That was one of the things, in rehab, they said, if you want self-esteem, do esteemable acts. I read books about self-esteem. I did all this stuff. All I got to do is do esteemable acts. Help people out. Hold on one second. Hopefully that muted.
Yeah, wow, good timing.
All right. My sponsor says
Yes.
feelings are not facts. That's true. Feelings are just
Yep.
feelings.
Yep. You don't have to take them so seriously. And Dor, you're a chef as well. How about that? Yeah, us chefs, we had I do remember many of the jobs I worked. There was quite the access to alcohol all the time. But is that what contributed to my alcoholism? No, I don't. I really don't believe that. There is definitely a high chemical abuse rate in the restaurant and hospitality industry, but really, it was me, and it was my reactions to things, and just the way I live life. JM, good to see you again. Hello, and yeah, but 4 weeks sober. Congratulations. Good job. Good job. And yeah,
Cool. You
but
want to talk about our program?
oh, sure. Yeah, so over at TalkSober.com, we have a program, and if you want to support us or you're looking for a program to help you stay sober, go on over to TalkSober.com and click on the big yellow button. That'll take you there, and you can sign up right there. And it's very inexpensive, less than $1 a day. And that will help support us and get the word out and our and what we're trying to do here. We're trying to show people a realistic way to find sobriety and a way to change the way you look at life and alcohol. And if you do sign up, you can sign up there and get a free mug. Here's mine. I did it 10 years, 3,650 days. It's a few more days than that nowadays. But yeah, and go check that out. We also have a Facebook group you can join and talk to other people about maybe what you're going through. A lot of people there have gone through similar situations and have made it through it. So go over there and you get a private call with Marcus and myself if you'd like, and click on that button, and we can talk to you about your sobriety and your journey into it, and how we can help you.
Cool.
So yeah, go on over there.
Awesome stuff. All right. I think, is there any other questions in the comments? Questions in the chat or comments? Doesn't look like a whole lot. Any other wise words on this one secret thing that got you sober?
Well, I think that really the most important thing for me is that, well, Marcus said the chemical dependency, and realizing that it's not you, it's the chemical dependency. But at the same time, it is you that has to take responsibility for your sobriety. Mm-hmm. Nobody else. Your family, yeah, of course, your family, your loved ones, they want you to get sober. But if you're anything like me, you're able to hide it. You are a professional liar. You're able to get away with it. So you have to realize that you are the one that has to keep yourself sober. You're the one that has to walk the walk. Where we can all help each other. We can help you. Your doctor can help you. There's lots of people that can help you. But all they can do is guide you in the right direction. You are the one that has to do it. And at the same time, try not to take life so seriously and things so seriously. You need to try and figure out a way to enjoy things. That's one thing I did when I got sober, is I started to do things that I really enjoyed. Like many, I'm a bicyclist, and that's what I do. And I do a lot of it. And I like to go do things with my wife and go on hikes and things like that. And now it's ski season, so I'm going skiing a lot and living in gratitude, being thankful for just the little things that you have. Mm-hmm. And that's an important thing. And then one practical thing that if you're able to, is get alcohol out of the house.
That's an interesting thing, because JM, you didn't address JM's yet, did you?
I did not.
Yeah, he said about the alcohol out of the house. This ties in pretty good. He says, I had an interesting urge to drink a few days during Thanksgiving, and I figured out what was causing it. I switched from non-alcohol mouthwash to alcohol mouthwash. WTF, 5 years sober, thanks to you guys. That's interesting that you noticed that. I don't think mine has alcohol. I'm pretty sure my wife buys non-alcohol kind, obviously, for obvious reasons. But yeah, that definitely could kick up the craving, the smell and the the stuff like that.
Yeah. I mean, I took it even a step further. I went through medicine cabinets and got through anything that was mind altering, and just got rid of all that stuff. And I did look at mouthwash. I looked at cough syrup, because we all get cold here and there, and we need that cough syrup. And this one has alcohol, throw it away. Mm-hmm. Maybe get another one that's not alcoholic. That type of thing that's an important thing to do. And a lot of us don't have that choice. You know, we have family members or whatever that still drink, and I'm not going to tell somebody else in my family that no, you can't drink because I can't drink. Okay, you know, that's just going to cause friction. But asking them, you know, maybe you can not leave it on the kitchen counter, and maybe not sit there and pound drinks while I'm around. You know, you can always come up with a compromise as long as you're trying to communicate with others that are in your life.
Yeah.
And we got some questions here. What are the
Yeah,
odds that
Marcus
I'll
says, what are the odds that I'll relapse after X amount years of sobriety? It depends on who you ask. Like a lot of
Yep.
people think relapse is part of recovery. I don't think so. I don't think you have to relapse. Um, I think you can just stay sober and realize I don't drink anymore. Um, a lot of people do relapse though. And if you do relapse, just get back up and keep going. The worst thing that happens is people relapse and then they, oh my gosh, I relapsed. I better go on a bender. And some people don't ever make it out of that bender. They just keep drinking. If you just look at it like, okay, whatever, like mouthwash guy, some people would be like, oh, you had alcohol. Okay, well, I've had things with alcohol too. It doesn't mean I relapsed. It just means for whatever reason, something had that in it. Um, I think a relapse is a willful doing of it, not an accidental. And with that said, if you do have a willful one, let's say you have a bad day. I've had bad days. I've thought about drinking. If you do, try to minimize the damage. Minimize it. Like, there's no stigma. Like a lot of people think, oh, you're sober 10 years, you go relapse, you lost 10 years. No, you didn't. You have 10 years plus 1 day. You still have that experience and that knowledge that you gained. You still have that everything you learned. So I think that's key. What do you think about that?
Um, yeah, I agree. And as far as the odds that you'll relapse, we don't know. And if you look at rehabs and this, and they're going to say the 97% success rate, success rate, and then I think there's this one guy that's out there that has YouTube ads on now, and he's like, only 5% of the people in AA are successful. He doesn't know that. None of these statistics are accurate. If you went to rehab and you started drinking again, and they called you to find out if you're sober, are you going to even answer the phone? I mean, come on.
Well, and
There's no accurate.
that also counts everyone. Like a
Yeah,
guy who goes to AA one time, that counts as the 5%. Whereas there's a meeting I go to, and it's mostly people who are a year or more. Like we have
yeah.
3 people
And
out of
Mark,
30 that have been sober for a long time.
yeah. And I'll give you the statistic that is most important to me. If I don't take a drink, I have a 100% chance of staying sober.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only stat that matters. So don't take a drink and you'll stay sober. That's really, I mean, kind of dumb answer, but really,
No, I mean it's a good
fact.
answer because it's the fact. Like I have no
Yeah,
desire to go drink because I know what it's going to do.
yeah,
I don't.
yeah,
How long till you start feeling feelings after quitting heavy drinking? It depends. Some people do them instantly. Some people never lose it. Like I felt feelings more when I was drinking because I had this made up world and everything. Um, but yeah,
and for me, yeah, I had my feeling when I first got sober was different than many people, but I've also talked to others that have experienced the same thing. I had joy. I felt freedom. I was like, I don't have to take a drink anymore. Now, was this immediately after I stopped drinking? No, but soon after, a couple weeks after, I was like, after the withdrawals were kind of had gone away, that's when I started to, I was just happy. I was like, this is great. But at the same time, I was really sick still. So it was frustrating. And I'll bet you, I'd be willing to bet, Dor, that you are having feelings and maybe they're just not the happy feelings. Maybe they're frustration or that you don't have, that you're not experiencing the joy or something like that. I'm not sure exactly which feelings are, but I bet you are having some. And as far as satisfaction and all that, some yeah, like Marcus said, It may take a while. Um, that's why you'll hear a lot of times people talk about living in gratitude, or at least just thinking about every day you wake up and like, all right, I woke up. I'm not hungover. Woohoo! Little things like that. Just little things to be happy about. And that's going to start changing your attitude and start changing your perspective towards things. And that's going
Absolutely.
to help your mood.
Absolutely. All right, guys, I think that's about it for today. Thanks for being here. If you got any topics, let us know. Smash that like button, subscribe, and we'll see you next week.